Hey friends, this is Derek Bros, the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we're going to talk about another study proving that fluoride, water fluoridation, does have negative health consequences despite what the mainstream, deadstream wants to tell you. You're not a crazy conspiracy theorist for questioning this practice. Before we do that, though, I'd like to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com so you can get all of our latest content, including videos, articles, essays, documentaries, everything. And of course, you can go to our website and follow us on all of our alternative media platforms. You can, of course, subscribe to our email newsletter. And if you want to support my work and support my efforts, you can sign up for a free ounce of kratom through My Brave Botanicals. They also have CBD if you want to get some of that. And we're also doing a crowdfunding campaign all of this month of August. Support the future of the Conscious Resistance Network. We just got a few more days left. And anybody who wants to throw some money in there, $5, $10, whatever, it is going a long way because, as I've been telling you guys, I am no longer able to support myself with writing articles as I have done for the last 7 or 8 years. And so I'm putting my full weight into the YouTube channel. I'm going to be making more videos. This week I got so many videos coming your way, and we're trying to get back to the documentary making. So please help me out if you can. Anything goes into that crowdfunding campaign will go back into the network. All right, guys. So a new study comes out. This one it's published in the Journal of American Medical Association, published August 19th, says association between maternal fluoride exposure during pregnancy and IQ scores in offspring in Canada. And as I said, it was published online August 19th. So key points: is maternal fluoride exposure during pregnancy associated with childhood IQ in a Canadian cohort receiving optimally fluoridated water? Findings: in this prospective birth cohort study, fluoride exposure during pregnancy was associated with lower IQ scores in children aged 3 to 4 years. Now, look, I don't know if you can make it more clear than that. I mean, I don't really, you need to read further and learn more, but it's pretty clear right up front. Associated with lower IQ scores in children aged 3 to 4 years, meaning fluoride exposure during pregnancy may be associated with adverse effects on child intellectual development, indicating the possible need to reduce fluoride intake during pregnancy. Of course, scientists always want to be careful with their words and say may, could, an association and things of this sort. But when you have all the other available evidence, that some of which we're about to go over, it's pretty clear that fluoride is causing problems. It has been for 50 years now. Okay, so the potential neurotoxicity associated with exposure to fluoride, which has generated controversy about community water fluoridation, remains unclear. Not really. To examine the association between fluoride exposure during pregnancy and IQ scores, and so they go through, and again, I advise you guys to read this whole study, but it says they use 512 mother-child pairs for enrollment. The age of enrollment for mothers was 32.3 years, 463 were white, and 264 were female. And they get into it. It says women living in areas with fluoridated tap water compared with non-fluoridated tap water had significantly higher mean. So the point here is that it's saying that the people who are taking in fluoride and those who are not are showing lower IQ in their kids when the mother is exposed to fluoride. Children had mean full-scale IQ scores of 100.7, range 52 to 143, with girls showing significantly higher mean scores than boys. There was a significant interaction between child sex and the effect of this, indicating a differential association between boys and girls. So their conclusion: in study, maternal exposure to higher levels of fluoride during pregnancy was associated with lower IQ scores in children aged 3 to 4. These findings indicate the possible need to reduce fluoride intake during pregnancy. And so you can read the whole introduction, the methods of how they conducted this study, everything about it. It's all right here. It's public information. Put it out, go out there, read it. Again, it's published in the Journal for American Medical Association, Pediatrics, and the network of that. And the interesting thing is I did notice, let me see if I can find it here. I noticed on another website that was reporting on this that they made sure to include a statement from the editor, because the editor was like, while this is an important study, we are worried that it's going to make the conspiracy theorists feel like they're right. Hasn't that been popping up a lot lately? What else was another thing? Oh, the Epstein thing, right? Some of the journalists were afraid to report on it because they were like, this is going to make the conspiracy theorists feel like they're right. We don't want to do that. And so they're trying to be careful with the way they report this news because they also don't want the conspiracy theorists to think that they were right when they've been talking about all the dangers of fluoride for years. Conclusions. In this prospective birth cohort study from 6 cities in Canada, higher levels of fluoride exposure during pregnancy were associated with lower IQ scores in children measured at age 3 to 4 years. These findings were observed at fluoride levels typically found in white North American women. This indicates the possible need to reduce fluoride intake during pregnancy. So they've repeated that several times in case you didn't get the message there. So if you're a pregnant mother, you have to be aware of all the different sources of fluoride that you're taking in. And unfortunately, avoiding all of them is not easy. One of the things I like to do is I go to those glacier stations or the windmill stations, the one with the penguin, and do my own water filling. We have 2 big 5-gallon jugs that we fill up, and this is what we drink from. This is what we cook with. Everything. Making tea, making coffee, boiling pasta, all of that. Because if you use the regular water from the city, which is more than likely fluoridated wherever you live, the water evaporates and the fluoride concentrates into your food, your pasta, or whatever. So that's one thing to do, to avoid. And know those little small pure water filters and those things, they do not remove fluoride. I know a Berkey filter does. But then there's also the exposure to fluoride through the shower and through other ways. So when you're brushing your teeth, when you're washing your face, when you're showering, it's absorbing right into your skin and your pores. So that's another big area. You can find shower filters and things like that. For the sink, they're a little more expensive, but yeah, you can find them. So this is coming out in 2019. But what I want to show you guys is, look, this is not the first time that we've heard about this and seen this exposed. Fluoride exposure in utero linked to lower IQ in kids. Study says. This is September 2017. So although this study said it's unclear if fluoride remains unclear. No, it's not unclear, guys. I don't know why they didn't even mention these studies, but this one was published in Environmental Health Perspectives, evaluating nearly 300 sets of mothers and children in Mexico. So 1 in Canada, 1 in Mexico, and tested the children twice for cognitive development over the course of 12 years. It said fluoride is not added to public water supplies in Mexico. But people are exposed through naturally occurring fluoride in water and fluoride salt in supplements. And the study found a drop in scores on intelligence tests for every 0.5 milligram per liter increase in fluoride exposure. However, although the researchers found a potential connection to a child's exposure to fluoride in utero, they found no significant influence from fluoride exposure on brain development once a child was born. And again, I think there are other studies that can that counter that conclusion. But at the least, this study of mothers and children in Mexico is also showing that in utero during pregnancy, exposure to fluoride could lead to lower IQ. And then let's go back even further. This one is 2012. Impact of fluoride on neurological development in children. This one is coming from Harvard School of Public Health. And let's see right here. It says, in a meta-analysis, researchers from Harvard School of Public Health and China Medical University for the first time combined 27 studies and found strong indications that fluoride may adversely affect cognitive development in children. Based on the findings, the authors say that the risk should not be ignored and that more research on fluoride's impact on the developing brain is warranted. This one was also published in the Environmental Health Perspectives Journal, but this one in 2012. So again, 2012, 2017, Environmental Health Perspectives, tested in Mexico. This one in JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association, in 2019. So 3 studies in the last decade, less than the last decade, the last 8 years or so, concluding this, finding, and one's from Harvard. These are respectable places. This isn't just random nonsense. But guess what? Guess what, guys? What does Snopes say about this claim? Does water fluoridation reduce IQ? Let's wait for it. False. Oh, yes. The great bastion of truth. Snopes claims that the claim that scientific studies demonstrating the process of adding fluoride to public water reduces IQ of the individuals is false. I'm not even going to bother reading any further because we already know that that's bullshit. So just in case somebody wants to whip out a Snopes link to you guys soon, just remember that we know Snopes is BS. And of course, Snopes is one of the people that Facebook chose to be their fact checker. So this is just a clear example of how they're full of shit. I just showed you 3 studies in the last 8 years, excuse me, specifically focused on this aspect. Now I'll show you this. If you search Derek Brosen fluoride, and yes, I'm using Google because for some reason when I search with DuckDuckGo, it does not pop up all the articles I've written over the years. But I could just show you a few different articles that I've written over the years talking about a range. Like here's new study confirms impact of fluoride on thyroid gland. I wrote that in 2015. American Dental Association recommends fluoride for children. Ireland gets first fluoride-free town. Surprised not all. It's interesting, guys. This is kind of interesting to me because I've written so many articles on fluoride, and a lot of them aren't popping up right now. I've only seen one of them that I wrote on thyroid gland, and I've written dozens over the years. So let's check out this one. This is from the Anti-Media, originally published on the Anti-Media, and new study confirms health impacts on thyroid gland. And this is back in 2015, researchers with the University of Kent in England. So thyroid gland issues. And let me see if this links to some of my other articles. Of course, we know the Fluoride Action Network is a great resource for this. And in 2006, the National Research Council released the report Fluoride in Drinking Water, a scientific review of EPA standards, and it concluded, the effects on fluoride on various aspects of endocrine function should be examined further, particularly with respect to a possible role in development of several diseases or mental states in the United States. Major areas for investigation include the following: thyroid disease. So I also reported previously that there is a growing conflict of interest between American health agencies and publicly available data. So this is what I reported for Ben Swan years ago. Over 2,000 pages of emails released under the FOIA request have uncovered apparent conflict of interest between the CDC and the American Dental Association. The emails contain an admission by the CDC that those with kidney issues will likely be adversely affected by the substance. And so I advise you, I'll put these links in the description. I advise you to check out more about this. And, I'd break down what exactly is fluoride. Of course, we got a number of studies indicating health problems from arthritis, brain problems, reduced thyroid or overactive thyroid, kidney, and bone cancers. And, of course, the World Health Organization released its own study on this, and they still claim that fluoride is good for you. But there are hundreds of communities around the world who are now starting to push against fluoride, and this is all over the world. So there's plenty of studies. I could read these studies all day if I wanted to, because I've covered it pretty much for years. Fluoride is one of the first things I started waking up to and realizing that, hey, this is not a conspiracy. This is actually a legitimate health research topic that people keep dismissing. So again, I recommend doing some research, searching for my name and fluoride or water fluoridation, and you're going to find the different research and studies that I've followed over the years. So check it out when you get a chance. And guys, remember, more evidence now that fluoride during pregnancy can reduce your child's IQ and their overall development, mental development. Of course, Snopes says this is false, but I think you guys can think for yourself and come to your own conclusions. All right, I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. Please do share this report if you found it helpful. I think I'm going to write an article as well, because sometimes I find it necessary to write articles and videos for the same topic, because I know some of you guys will digest a video, others will digest an article. So I'm probably going to do both for this, because I think it's an important topic. And there's a couple more extremely important stories that I've got that I should be getting to this Sunday evening. I got a busy day ahead of me, but I'm going to get to them Sunday evening for sure. Monday, you got lots of videos coming up. And again, if you want to support, please do look at that link below the video. Support the future of the Conscious Resistance Network. I can't do this without you guys. So please help me push. Let's see if we can push into $2,000. I think we're at like $1,500 or so. If I can get another, couple $100 donations in the next few days, we're going to be cruising through into September and doing lots of good content. So I appreciate you guys. Remember, it's up to you to keep independent media alive. We can't do it without you. So, till next time, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.